Lieutenant Colonel Conricus, thank you for joining us. It's been just a few months since you were with us in Washington addressing the APAC Policy Conference. How are you and your family?
Thank you very much, Becky, for having me. My family and I are well, Baruch Hashem. We're, past the situation of being quarantined at home. My wife and 4 kids are happy to be returning to routine, what we call routine, with the presence of Corona. Kids are back in school and the day continues.
The world has changed significantly since we were together in Washington for the conference. Here in Israel, the IDF has played a key role in helping the country deal with the coronavirus. Please tell us a little bit about the IDF's work in responding to the pandemic.
Most of what I'll say will be actually in past tense. Our number one priority was to continue to defend our borders. None of our enemies took a day off, and they didn't disappear with the appearance of COVID-19. They continue to threaten, and our number one priority was to continue to defend. Parallel to that, the IDF understood that this is an all-hands-on-deck situation and that we need to support the state of Israel in anything that was needed, and we were very happy to report to duty on that sense. More specifically, we've been running hotels as makeshift hospitals for moderate patients of COVID-19. More than 6,000 Israelis have been committed to those, and since then gone back to normal life, which helped relieve pressure from Israeli hospitals. We've distributed more than 3 million packages of food and medicine all over Israel to ultra-Orthodox in Bnei Brak and to Israeli Arabs up north in the Galilee, and everybody in between, anybody who needed food or medicine or needed transportation during the lockdown period. The IDF, the Home Front Command, was there and to support. And we ran a massive outreach public campaign where we informed everybody in 5 languages what should be done and what shouldn't be done. And we think that has had a great influence on the ability of the Israeli civilians to comply with the instructions and to be safe.
Truly amazing to hear about the IDF's efforts. How has the virus impacted the IDF's assistance to the Palestinian Authority?
So like so many things that we deal with on a daily basis, it's quite spectacular. When you think of it, both with the Palestinian Authority and with Gaza, the virus, COVID-19, doesn't recognize political borders, political beliefs, religion, or affiliation. As such, it was a common threat that we and the Palestinian Authority tackled together. We coordinated our efforts. We trained our medical teams together. Israel, through the COGAT, the Coordinator for Government Activities in the Territories, provided personal protection equipment, medicine, testing kits, and many other things from Israel to the Palestinians. But the key word here was really that we coordinated efforts. The Palestinian Authority was responsible for everything that happened within the PA areas. Both hospitals in Judea and Samaria and the Palestinian Authority and in Gaza are totally in control of the situation. And the scope of the pandemic is much lower than the doomsday scenarios that we started with.
Tell us a little bit about the security situation on Israel's borders.
So the security situation around us, shortly Gaza and the West Bank, they're less of a threat as we speak now. Really, our focus is looking up north, looking at Iranian efforts of continued Iranian expansionism in the region, that they're trying still to entrench themselves militarily in Syria, and that the Iranian Quds force continues to support Hezbollah, and Hezbollah in Lebanon continues to pose a very significant military threat against Israel. All of those things are not new, but despite the fact that Iran surely has suffered severely as a result of COVID-19, Iran has continued in all of its malign activity in the Middle East. They continue to try to destabilize the region. They continue to deploy offensive, threatening capabilities in Syria aimed at Israel, and they continue to try to provide high and very advanced capabilities to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Bottom line, despite a complex internal situation with regards to COVID-19, we continue to defend along our borders. and our number one priority is up north, what the Iranians are doing and the current threat that Hezbollah poses against Israel.
Lieutenant Colonel, we've seen some conflicting reports. On the one hand, some news reports describe what you just mentioned about the continued efforts of Hezbollah and Iran in Lebanon and Syria. On the other hand, some news reports suggest that Iran is actually pulling back from Syria. Can you help us understand this situation?
Well, there is merit to those reports, and yes, we are indeed seeing a relocation of sorts and movement of Iranian troops in Syria that we haven't seen before in terms of scope, and the general direction is a backward one. I wouldn't, jump the gun and say that the Iranians are pulling back from Syria. We're not quite there yet, but we do see that there appears to be an effect or a compounded effect of the economic strain on Iran. Perhaps the situation with COVID-19 and how they're reeling from the effects of the spread of the virus, and for sure, Israeli kinetic activities against the Iranians. It appears that these three factors are taking a toll, and the Iranians have to reconsider their strategy. But it's very premature to be claiming that there is no military threat from Iran in Syria towards Israel. We're not there yet, but what I can reassure you is that our resolve and commitment is clear, it's there, and we are not going to step back from that commitment.
Looking towards the U.S.-Israel relationship, we've seen some joint U.S.-Israel military exercises delayed due to the pandemic. However, we also saw an amazing joint F-35 exercise where the participants were never in the same room. How is the IDF adapting to ensure the international cooperation continues during this time?
So the international cooperation is very important for the IDF. We strive to learn from other militaries and their experience, specifically in the COVID-19 situation, which was new for all of the militaries involved. The bottom line is that we are offering our best practices and we're listening and asking for other best practices on a COVID-19 topic, but also on other issues, regional issues, Iran, Hezbollah, and other developments that are very important for the US and for other countries. And where we can, we continue to train. I must say truthfully that yes, there's been a significant drop in our ability to conduct training together with other militaries, except for that example that you pointed out, which, by the way, was the first time that the Israeli Air Force planned and executed an international exercise without even having one meeting in person. That's the first thing, and maybe we'll be able to cut down on costs and to conduct more training in the future using things that we've learned during COVID-19.